It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag Utah Jazz.
White, rise and fire, three in transition, no. Tapped out, Hendricks has it. 3-on-2 break. Clayton on the left side. Attacking, rising, packing. Oh my, who knew Walter Clayton Jr.? Who knew? He just rose up, cocked the right hand, rose above Derek White, peered down the cylinder and rimrocked it. My goodness.
White, wide open look for the three from the left, and he made it.
And I'm looking over there at Jason Terry going, how did he get open like that?
One thing that I'm very cognizant of is starting to pit our young players against each other. And that's not something that we do internally, but I recognize that based on our roster, where we're at, those things can happen, and I think they're really unhealthy. Like, it's not Isaiah versus Walt. Like, that's not what we're doing.
There is head coach Will Hardy. I get why he says that, PK, but based on what he said about the timeline, I don't see how that isn't happening. Given their ages, the way they play, the position they play, their need to have the ball, it seems like there's a little bit of that going on. It can't help but be going on.
Why do you get that he had to say that?
Oh, because coaches these days have to be in the players' corners, backing them up publicly. It's just the expected thing. I guess he
can't say I back up you and I back up you, but you're better than him, so I'm playing you over him. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they do? Every coach does that.
They do
every sport from T-ball all the way up.
They've got to pick someone to play, right?
Whoever bats third, they think is better than the person who bats ninth. I don't understand why he can't say that. Why does he have to say that? I don't. He doesn't have to say anything, first of all.
That would be the easiest way out of it. Yeah.
I don't. Out of what? I don't see why it's a problem. It's competition.
It is, and not everybody's good.
If they thought they can get a better coach than Will Hardy, they'd go get one. And if my management thought they'd get a better rating, they told me you're able to do this long because of the ratings. And if the ratings were bad, we would get somebody else. That's the way of the world. I totally disagree that he has to say that.
The highlight of the night goes to Walter Clayton Jr. He got away with the wipe away for people who think you never get a call. That could have been offensive, but hey, it's entertainment. Let him go. And it was impressive. But ultimately, the fact that the Jazz don't defend well caught up with them. Boston, a 40-point third quarter. They took control of the game, and they went at 129-119. They also did a good job of shutting Markkanen down in the second half. He had it going in the first half, but he was pretty quiet in the second half.
Good. This is exactly what I wanted.
I thought this was your kind of game, right? It was competitive. A lot of good things happened, but when it got to crunch time, Boston was better.
Yeah. Good.
Jazz are off today. They're back in action tomorrow against the Clippers. 8:30 tip time here on The Zone. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Doncic pump fakes the three, and then Sasser knocks it loose. Sends it ahead. Can he save it in the corner? He's on 1 foot. Finds Stu for a dunk.
6 seconds to go in overtime. Tie score. VJ's open. He catches. He shoots a three. It's good. He made it with 1.7 to go. VJ Edgecombe with the biggest shot of his rookie season puts the Sixers up by 3.
And it's the game winner, Edgecombe, powering the Sixers to the 139-136 overtime win as they beat the Memphis Grizzlies. It was a light schedule. The Lakers got blown out by the Pistons, and the Clippers crushed the Sacramento Kings by 41 points. Jazz and Clippers will play tomorrow night. The Clippers pick up win number 11, PK, after a dreadful start. Kawhi Leonard's come alive. The team is playing better. And for those of you watching the draft order, it feels like the way the Clippers are going, they ought to pass the Jazz here pretty quickly.
Good. Keep giving me good news to close out the year. Good.
Five.
Good. Don't stop talking. Good.
Yeah, 5 straight wins for the Clippers. It'll be interesting to see what the Jazz injury report looks like for the Clipper game. That was legitimately a hard fall Markkanen took. And for a playoff game, he'd be right back out there. But it's not a playoff game, and we'll see what the injury report says.
Well, today, New Year's Eve, and so tomorrow I want to see whomever player out, and then in parentheses, hangover.
He built an excuse. They were going from Salt Lake to Vegas in some vans, or some Salt Lake to LA and Vegas, and they stopped overnight there on the way to play the Clippers in Vegas.
Right, I better see some of them in Vegas today.
They pulled the vans over in Mesquite, and it got out of control.
I want to see players, yeah. When I leave Vegas tonight, I want to see some players on the strip.
Yeah, a bunch of these guys just turned 21, and kids.
Right, yeah, they got a party.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
A Mountain West Conference W for the Utah State Aggies. They went on the road. They beat Fresno State 72-63. Now, PK, a lot of things are changing in college basketball. We got people eligible to play who were never eligible to play before. We got people joining teams midseason off the waiver wire when that was never a thing, to a point that coaches would say, hey, we can't get someone off the waiver wire. These injuries are killing us. Lots of things have changed, but you know what hasn't changed? Winning conference games on the road. That's a big deal. You got to feel good about that. It's a conference road win. That's the best kind of regular season win.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I have no idea what kind of team Fresno is. I couldn't tell you. I don't follow them, but I'm sure you do. Keep accumulating as many wins as possible and see what you do in March.
And the Aggies get it done and improve to 2-0 in the Mountain West Conference. Fresno State's a mediocre 6-7 and 0-2, but I really don't follow them, so I can't go any deeper than that. NCAA President Charlie Baker clarifying the organization's position on college eligibility for players with NBA experience. A statement has been issued. Quote, the NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who signed an NBA contract, including a two-way contract. While the NCAA has prevailed on the vast majority of eligibility-related lawsuits, recent outlier decisions and joining the NCAA on a nationwide basis from enforcing rules have been on the books for decades without even having a trial are wildly destabilizing. And he's going to be working with Division I leaders in the weeks ahead to protect college basketball from these misguided attempts to destroy this American institution. Wow. Powerful language, misguided attempts, an American institution. Laying it on thick.
Well, are the rules different from American players versus European players and what these guys, so it's a two-way deal that screams NBA exclusively. Do they have two-way deals in these European leagues and all that stuff?
I think that two-way designation is a product of the collective bargaining agreement, and for the life of me, I don't know. I do think what he said about outlier decisions, it does feel like different decisions have been handed down, but I don't know.
Right, but that's just the American thing. How about the foreign
player coming in, G League guy coming in, former draft pick coming in? Yeah, are all those being treated the same, or are they all going to be treated the same going forward? It seems like they were all treated the same for decades. But it doesn't feel like that right now.
I don't know that they have been treated the same for decades because some of these foreign guys come in, but yet they don't have full 4 years of eligibility. Well, why not? An American kid, when he comes in, if he's eligible, he has the 4 years of eligibility. So has it been treated the same for years? Doesn't sound like it.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
There's always pressure, but I think it was Billie Jean King who said pressure is a privilege, right? Was it Billie Jean King who said that? And that's something that is earned, So we feel like it's something very worthwhile to be in games like this. And if those are the things that are being talked about along with that, that's okay. That's a privilege too. So let's get to work and let's go try to play our best game. Try to coach our best game.
That's Ravens coach John Harbaugh on the pressure Baltimore and Pittsburgh feel in advance of Sunday night's game. Playing for the division title, the winner is in the playoffs, the loser is out. The playoffs are starting a week early. It is legitimately must-win time for Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Cool.
But on top of that, you got two coaches who their teams haven't been succeeding at the same level in the playoffs that the fan bases are used to, and everybody wonders if there'll be a change. Ownership, there's been a ton of stability in those two organizations. And, will that continue, or will the loser, is this going to cost them a job? Have we finally gotten to the place that two of the longest tenured coaches in the NFL, one of them might get cut loose? We do have another win-in-your-in game without all the legacy stuff going on Saturday. The Panthers and the Bucks playing for the division title, although there is a weird scenario where the Bucks could beat the Panthers, but if Atlanta wins, it's a three-way tie, and then Carolina wins anyway. So it's not a complete win-in-your-in, although if the Panthers win, they lock it up. New England Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs is facing a felony charge of strangulation and a misdemeanor charge of assault from an alleged incident on December 2nd. According to a police report, a woman went to police December 16th and shared that she was working as a private chef on the date of the incident in question. So, Stephon Diggs facing the felony charge now, and the Patriots gearing up for the playoffs, but apparently without him. We'll see how that plays out. Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald headline a group of 4 modern-era finalists in their first year of eligibility from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, along with Jason Witten and Frank Gore. Adam Vinatieri guaranteed a spot after advancing to the Final 7. Willie Anderson, Torrey Holt. Luke Kuechly also advancing in the Final 7. The other finalists, Eli Manning, Reggie Wayne, Jari Evans, Marshall Yonda, Terrell Suggs, and Darren Woodson. Feel strongly about any of those guys getting into the Hall? It's a long list of names.
Oh, several of them, yeah, absolutely.
Drew Brees is a slam dunk. Larry Fitzgerald.
Well, at the top,
yeah.
The ones I'm talking about the guys you listed a little lower. I mean, at the top, obviously Fitzgerald and Brees are going to waltz in. There's no question about that. But several guys that you named, the Panthers linebacker Luke, and the other guys, yeah, I think so. I think that's a strong class.
That is a strong class. I can see Torrey Holt getting in.
Sure.
It feels like Reggie Wayne might be right on the verge, yes or no. He's a very good player.
I'd have no problem putting him in. Peyton Manning loved him.
Yeah. Powered my fantasy football team for years, so it'd be hypocritical to start shooting him down now. Eli Manning, I just wonder if they can all get in. It's like you said, it's a strong class. Jason Witten probably has a strong argument. Frank Gore has a strong argument.
Well, I don't have any idea of how many people they can put in on a particular class. If they put in 10, they put in 10. I don't know if that's against the rules, nor am I going to find out, nor am I going to care.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
I chose to finish out this season with my team. I'm going to play it in the game, but for some people it's a lot higher stakes. Got a couple of first rounders and things like that. So, we know those guys love us. They let it be known every day since they've been here. So we still support those guys. They support us.
Devin Dampier talking about playing in the bowl game. The Utes play 1:30 today against Nebraska, the Las Vegas Bowl. Morgan Scalley's first game on the sideline. You can hear the game on the KSL Sports Zone. PK, a lot of storylines in this one, a lot of intrigue, a new era.
Yeah, this is the start of the Morgan Scalley era. It came a little quicker than we thought, even though it seemed like for him he was waiting, and then he gets it, and we're thinking Kyle's going to coach the ball, and he doesn't. And I think it's important, just for perception's sake, that they go out there and play well and win this game and give Morgan a little boost, and then it becomes his program officially with the start of the game, obviously. And whereas they lost, you can remember back when Bronco was his first game. It was Boston College, and they booed because it was a punt. Now, it's 21 years later, but we all remember that. And he remembered it, right? And so why not have a good memory? Because the good thing about Bronco is then they had a game the following week. They didn't have to wait 9 months or 8 months. So for Morgan's sake, get that win today, seal this deal on the 25 season, go 11-2. That's one of the better seasons that they've ever had. And so from that perspective with Scalley, you get a little momentum. Then we take care of the coaching situations, who's going, who's leaving. I know Lewis Powell put out there that a Utah man I am. And so that makes it seems to me that that's a strong statement that he's going to stay. And that fans eat that up. Kyle said that for 21 years, and no longer he's He's not a Utah man anymore. So I don't really care about that. They care about who's going to stay, who's going to go. And then you attack the transfer portal, which is 2 days away. Although obviously they've been evaluating guys as they've been making their announcements that they're in. The portal really doesn't have any boundaries in that perspective. It may have an end point, but it doesn't really necessarily have a beginning point. And so away you go. So I think it's important for him and just to get off to the right start to win this game this afternoon.
More on this game coming up. The question of the day, all about the Utes in the bowl game. We'll get to that in our next segment. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
TCU down 10 points in the fourth quarter, but they rallied and they beat USC in overtime 30-27. PK, you feel like you've seen that game-winning touchdown before? That was some atrocious tackling. It seemed like there were plenty of chances to just shove them out of bounds, and yet somehow tightrope, missed tackles, and SC loses.
And you thought that was a big blow to the Big Ten? And
I think the Big Ten hype machine will be powered by Indiana and Ohio State. I think it proved, as I watched it happen, I thought, this is why PK told us the middle to upper middle of the Big Ten isn't that good. Is the top of the Big Ten that good? You got to tip your cap to Indiana and Ohio State. But after that, there are question marks. And that next group, I mean, Michigan, USC, USC not that good.
You're forgetting Oregon there.
Yeah, I think Oregon to be determined. If Oregon gets smoked by Texas Tech, then they fall in the second tier. If they beat Texas Tech, they're in the top tier. They didn't play a great conference schedule. You don't really get to control those things. They had a chance against Indiana. They got beat pretty soundly at home.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how's that changed, though, for the Big Ten? Have they ever been a deep conference?
I think the perception is that, yes, they have been. I personally believe they haven't. When San Diego State was pretty mediocre, they were going back to Michigan, Ohio State, and playing close games and finding a way not to make the one play that would win the game, and multiple times walk away with close losses when they woulda, coulda, shoulda. So, yeah, I think there's always been that element to the Big Ten.
Well, okay, because you've always thought that, then it's never going to change for you. Because you've always thought that.
Yeah. It doesn't change for me, but how does it change for the public's perception?
You are the public. You're just.
I'm one of the public. I'm one of the public. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so people out west are going to think that, and people closer to that conference are going to think, no.
We're the best.
The perception is
we're awesome.
No, the problem with perception is facts don't change it.
Sometimes they don't. You're right. And I don't know that it's going to change with the Big Ten. I mean, I think it's going to be viewed as the best league. If Indiana and Ohio State live up to this billing and are in the semis, maybe they'll both be in the final. And then the whole
you don't think it's going to change?
No, I don't.
Right, because that's your perception.
That is my perception.
It won't change. You can't change. You can't argue facts with perception. So you don't think it will change? I know you don't think it will change. Because that's what you think. That's your perception of it. So perception is abstract. It's not factual.
Yes.
It won't change.
But it can change, and perception does change over time. Do you think the perception of the SEC is changing as they struggle in multiple playoffs?
No.
Oh, really? I think it's starting to. It feels like the glacier is melting.
Well, and then the NFL draft will come, and we'll see 2/3 of the players will be from those conferences. And really, the results of the games don't matter as much. I think that's where you should go on your perception, is that the results really don't matter. It's about these other things. If they win, then they matter. But if they don't, then they'll go, well, look at who has the most players annually in the draft, who has the most players in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. They'll just change the argument.
Yes, that'll happen, but I don't know how much it'll stick. It's like, yeah, you've got some great players, but you don't have complete teams. Or at some point, Tennessee would have beaten a team with a winning record, which they didn't because they lost their bowl game on a field goal right at the end to Illinois. 30-28.
Yeah, but no one's talking about Tennessee being anything this year, so it doesn't matter. You need the top portions of your team. How many players is Tennessee going to have drafted? I mean, you pick Tennessee because that's what you could pick if they lost. Now, if Tennessee had won that game, you wouldn't say anything. But because they lost, that's your little caveat.
I'd say Illinois sucks because they're in that upper middle of the Big Ten. Chasing our tail around the room with college football.
I mean, and then you look at SC and TCU. How many? And we know the quarterback Hoover wasn't there, but can you tell me how many guys from SC weren't there? And
no, I can just tell you
Lincoln
that
Riley spins it that this wasn't our team.
Yep.
That 70% of our starters were freshmen because a lot of guys left. We've had
and now our window is open. It was his big
and they finished third in the Big Ten, and TCU finished tied for fourth. Is there that big of a difference between that designation?
Yes, because
probably not. The game went overtime.
Right, there wasn't that big a difference, but the runner-up in the Big 12 doesn't get in the tournament, and the third-place team in the Big 10 does. So,
well, I mean, the SC finished third, and it didn't.
Well, SC didn't finish third because SC
they finished fourth?
Well, they finished behind Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon, right?
Then they finished fourth, and TCU finished tied for fourth. So shouldn't it be a close game if you go by that? And it was.
Football tonight, we got a playoff game. Miami, Ohio State, 5:30 tonight in the Cotton Bowl. Find out the first of the semifinal teams. Miami already pulled off one road win. Now can they win on a neutral field here against Ohio State? And
did you see the guy who stood outside? He was either their practice for Ohio State. They were either going to the hotel or going from the hotel, something like that. And there was a guy standing, and you can look it up. Just type in Ohio State Cuban. And he's screaming at the Ohio State players, "You lost to a Cuban! You lost to a Cuban!" And he's talking about Fernando Mendoza. "Now you're going to face 20 Cubans. There's no way. You guys suck." And the thing goes on for like 8 minutes. And he's a grown man standing there as the players are walking like to or from the bus. And he's going on with the word Cuban because Mendoza has the Cuban heritage, as do many, many people from Miami, obviously. In the state of Florida, but Miami particular, and he's hitting that, and they're looking at him like, "Man, what are you doing? This is something that you think is worth your time?
Get a life."
Oh my gosh, so stupid.
All right, that's what's trending. There you go. It's brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, we're talking football with Riley Jensen at 8 o'clock. Tim Lacombe, Jazz Radio Analyst at 8:30, and Frank Dolce at 9 to talk about the Ute Bowl game coming up today at 1:30 right here on The Zone. The question of the day is next. Stay with us.